Hello, everyone. Hello, Aga.
Hi.
I am Karolina Gladych, and I am with my dear friend and co-creatrix, Agnieszka Radomiak.
Hi, everyone.
Today, we are having a very juicy topic. We are talking about shamanic journeying. I know that, Aga, for you, it's like your love affair currently, love of your life, it feels like to me at least. And I know that it's brought deep transformation and awakening to you. So I
Yeah.
would love to hear, what was your journey into shamanic journeying? How did it all start?
Okay. I will try to tell the story quickly because it's a magical one. Actually, it happened all because of a wonderful plant medicine I've been working with, ceremonial grade cacao. And I often laugh that it's my private joke that I did the shamanic journeys before it was cool. And what I mean by that is that I was doing them without knowing that they were actually shamanic journeys. I was in my meditation practices. I was sort of communicating with different beings or spirits or parts of myself. And later on, when I started my shamanic practices, after a while I realized, I did this before. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Anyway, during one of my meditations with cacao, I asked the cacao spirit, how she would like me to work with her, because it happened shortly after I had completed a cacao practitioner training, which brought my relationship with this plant medicine to another level, I could say. And I knew I had to find my own path of sharing cacao with the world, with the people. But I didn't know what it was. I know that people work differently with cacao. They use it for meditation, for sound journeys, for breath work, yoga, even massage and stuff like that. But I didn't know what was my way. So I just asked her. I asked the cacao spirit, what you want me to do? Help me, guide me. And she said, I want a shamanic drum. And I thought, what the hell? What do you mean? What's shamanic drum? But I took it, I accepted it. And the next day I just Googled, I searched it in the Google images to see what the shamanic drum looks like, but I didn't want to push it. I knew it wasn't the way just to go to some online store and buy it. I knew that it would happen somehow differently, that we will find each other. And of course it did. A few days later, in a Facebook group that I belong to, the hostess of this group posted that she is selling one of her drums, and she posted pictures of it, and I completely fell in love, and I knew that was the one, and I contacted her. We spoke, and she decided to sell it to me. I decided to buy it. And that's how I became an owner of my first shamanic drum. And then I got to know that person, the hostess. Her name is Agata Wiaterek, also known as Amrita Darshan. And she became my Kundalini yoga teacher and shamanic practices teacher. And it's been a wonderful journey ever since.
I remember when the drum arrived, by
Yeah,
courier, and
yeah.
you sent me pictures on WhatsApp and how excited you were.
I did. I cried actually. I was so moved. I was crying even before I started opening the package.
Mm, yeah. You know, it really feels like a magical story. And when you were
Yeah,
speaking, there were three moments when I had little goosebumps. First of all, when you said, today in this conversation, when you said that you asked the cacao spirit, and she told me, like, you were describing it as if you were talking with a good friend. You know, I can
yeah,
sense how intimate relationship you have with her. It's
yes,
so
very
cool
much.
to hear it. Yeah. And also the second goosebump was when you said, I did it before. You know, what occurred to me, I remember once Sandra Ingerman, who is like a older shamanic practitioner. She's been practicing
Mhm.
for many decades. And she said once, it really struck me, that all of us actually have in our DNA like shamanism, because all of
Yeah,
us had ancestors who practiced it,
yes,
because it's the
yes.
most ancient, the oldest spiritual practice. So we
Mm.
all did it in some way or another, right? Like we have it in our
Yeah,
genes. Mm.
yes, that's amazing. That's what I like about shamanism, that it doesn't belong to one particular culture.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it belongs to humanity in
Mm.
general because it's been known for thousands of years in practically every culture.
Yeah.
So I kind of like it very much about it.
Yeah. And you know, in the story, like she said, she wanted a drum. You knew it wasn't going to come from Amazon or eBay, but it will kind of come, and it did come, and then it led to your relationship with your teacher. It
Yeah.
also strikes me as you kind of touched the invisible world of spirit, where everything is connected. And it was then
Hmm.
easy, like the drum arrived, a new story unfolded, like kind of
Yeah.
easily and magically in the world where everything is
Yes.
connected. And I believe this
Yes.
is one of the like core beliefs of the shamanism, isn't it? That everything is connected, that we are not a separate being.
Yeah. Yes. Connection with nature is
Mm.
very important, both your own nature
Mhm.
and the nature outside.
Mhm. So tell me about, you said that it's like ancient practice, but we are now in 21st century. Uh, what shamanic journeying is for you?
For me, it's like having a direct line to my inner self,
Mm.
or we could call it in many different ways, I suppose. Uh, my inner self, the source, some guidance, my higher self, the intelligent love, but also my own psyche,
Mhm.
the world of unconscious.
Mhm. And by direct line, do you mean that it enables like very direct communication?
Kind of direct in a way that I will quote my teacher now, Agata. She says that behind your closed eyes is everything.
Mhm.
But our brain, our mind understands very little of it, right? We often talk about it, me and you, even between each other, that it was Jung who said that our unconscious speaks to us in symbols, images. So this is where the shamanic journeys come with help. They are a sort of a structure, like a scaffolding, and with the images, pictures, or sometimes visions that appear. We can call, I heard an expression that I liked very much recently, a creative visualization. So we could describe shamanic journey as a type of traditional meditation, right? And some people call it a creative visualization. And this is what actually happens during the journey itself. So it helps us understand the language of our soul better.
Could we because maybe some people who are listening are not familiar yet with shamanic journey. Could we give like a taste of what can happen in such journey? Also like the technical aspect, what actually is going on and what the vision could be?
Yes, of course. It can be a guided meditation, but in the shamanism that I'm practicing, it's not. It's before the meditation itself, the practitioner, the person who is doing the practice, who is holding the space, is giving the participants a sort of instructions, which is like a story, step by step, of what will be happening during that meditation. And usually we work with tree of life. So it begins the same, that I am in a meadow or in a forest. I walk towards the tree of life, and then other things happen. So before the meditation itself, she or he, the person holding the space, gives us the structure, the story. And then when the meditation begins, there is a sound. There is an instrument playing. It can be a shamanic drum, and it's a constant rhythmic sound, kind of a trance sound that helps our brain get into a sort of meditative state, somewhere between being awake and asleep, where we are very prone to visualization, where it's easier for us. And then we actively use our imagination to tell the story in our heads step by step. And after a while, we feel that it sort of the story tells itself. And when we are open to anything that appears, we can experience some beautiful visions. We can see some images. We can see actual persons or animals. But not everybody sees clear pictures. It could also be just a feeling or emotion, or some other sensations. Sandra Ingerman, the one you mentioned, she says that she doesn't experience visions as images, and it didn't stop her from becoming a shaman. So she didn't give up in her journey.
Yes.
So if you don't see visions during your shamanic meditation, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong.
Yeah. So my curiosity is that we have the structure of the story that person enters, and then the story starts kind of revealing itself to us, and we experience it as images, scenes, but also emotions, maybe sounds.
Yes.
So it's like touching what's behind the closed eyes. Like you said, it's everything there. We touch the soul and her language. And what is the bridge? Like, how does it happen that also our conscious mind can somehow understand or benefit from what's happening during this shamanic journey?
Mhm. Very often we just know. We can feel it in our guts what a particular symbol or an image means to us. But the beauty of the shamanic journeys is that we don't always have to understand what happens or try and interpret it in any ways, because just the experience itself has the healing powers. As in, it works in a background like a software program, and only by having the experience, we open up to some qualities, healing, transformation.
I love it. So it's just by receiving those visions or experiences, something kind of opens up in us, something happens without
Yes, that's how it works for me.
Yeah. Great. Would you like to share any personal experience, either of a journey or a shift that happened to you as a result of journeying?
Yes, I would like to, but it would be very difficult for me to choose one. I just want to mention one more thing about the journeys, that the meditation, it's not long. It's usually 10, 15, 20 minutes is a long one. They're really short compared to some other types of meditation. So sometimes they're like a sort of a mission that I go in with specific intention. I do what I'm supposed to do. I receive the guidance that, for example, I am asking for, and I get out with a new perspective, with new ideas, with widened field of my vision, or I don't know how to explain it better, but I think you know what I mean.
Sounds very practical, that it's something like practical.
Very.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And would you like to share any benefit that you receive?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the cacao meditation can be one example. That resulted in a very specific way that manifested as a specific. It actually manifested as a physical object, so that's very specific. But also from other journeys, yes, my recent one, when I went to meet my ancestors. There is a type of journey that we do for meeting our ancestors, either the feminine line or the masculine line, or both of them. And I went to meet my female ancestors. And I went with a specific intention. But when in my journey, in my vision, I reached them, I met them, they started telling me their stories about their life and who they were and what their gifts and abilities were. And they said that they are sort of helping me. They are giving me my gifts and my talents. And my job is to be sharing my gifts to the world, because they couldn't do it for various reasons. You know, in the times when they lived, they could be, I don't know, even killed for that, right? Or burned at the stake, or suffered in some other way, or just weren't able to because it wasn't possible in those times. So they said that when I asked them, when I said thank you, and I asked them, what could I give to you? What, you know, what could be my offering to you? They said, your job, what you can do for us, is to share your gifts to the world. And we sort of made a pact. And after the journey, when I got out of it, I felt very empowered. I felt more confident, and I had more willingness to open up, and there was also more vitality. I had more energy to work, to create, and to put it out there, you know, to show my creations, show them to other people. So it was like an immediate, right? I got out of the meditation. I felt this rush of positive energy, the confidence, the power, the joy of creation flowing through me. And I immediately started yeah, okay. So so after the journey, I immediately started working, right? Because I felt this rush of positive energy and confidence and power and creative flow. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that sounds so supportive and so loving to receive this communication support.
Yes, and that's what I needed.
Interesting, because I think in more indigenous cultures, the relationship with the ancestors was something very important and kind of natural in their everyday life. But like right now, very rarely the modern person communicates or even relates to the generations that we haven't ever met. But it sounds like it's very empowering and can be really intimate connection. We have them in the DNA, don't we?
Yes.
They are in us. Yeah. So you mentioned that this was part of the process of, I don't know exactly how you phrase it, but healing the feminine journey or connecting the feminine line.
Yes. This type of journey can be called healing the feminine ancestral line, but it doesn't have to be healing as such. It can be, of course. We will experience from time to time the need for healing or some bad experiences from our past will come up for us, but often it can also be an empowerment journey. What happened in my case? Yes, because I did a workshop the other day, and it made me think that I've been doing the process of healing my traumas from the childhood for such a long time. I was going, you know, like in circles over and over again. And that night, I decided to put them on the side, forget about the pain and suffering and the bad experiences for a moment, and focus on the gifts that the power that can be received from this type of work, that it doesn't necessarily have to be healing all the time. It can be growing, transforming, empowering yourself.
And it sounds like it was a choice, an inner choice that you made.
Yes. Yeah.
And I understand that shamanic journey can serve us and support us in both, like healing, releasing trauma from our system, and also awakening our power, our gifts. Would you say so?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. I want to say to our listeners also about our program that we are co-creating, and that there will be opportunity to experience shamanic journey during that program. Before we go there, do you want to add anything else about journeying, about your experience?
Let me think for a second. I think not. If something comes to my mind, I will let you know.
Yeah. And you need to also show us your drum at the end.
Okay, I will.
A special treat. So, yes, I facilitated a beautiful program called Feed Your Magic, and we ended it last month in July, and it was awesome. And I decided to have a second edition. And Feed Your Magic is actually about connecting to your soul, to your unique gifts, to your essence, to your real power. And shamanic journey goes so well with it. So I decided I would love to have Aga as a co-creatrix and co-facilitator. And we decided to create it together, the second edition, and shamanic journey is part of it. So I will tell you briefly what will be in the program, and maybe Aga, you have something to add after.
Yes, I will. I just want to say that I love this word, creatrix, co-creatrix. It's very juicy and exciting.
I love it too. Yes, so we are co-creating Feed Your Magic. It's a program for women, and it's 3 months, and actually 3 moon cycles, which is almost 3 months. And it's a program for women only, because we are working with the divine feminine and the mysteries of the divine wild feminine. And it's like a very rich program, and I've put so much of my heart and soul into it to support the participants. And for me, like coming together in a very small group gathering of people who honor and desire to express and experience their magic, it's like alchemical co-creation and very deep process. So we are having women's circles in which we are sitting in the field of the divine love and feminine wisdom. We are connecting to each other, sharing, and we're also awakening our psychic gifts, our intuition. We also have in Feed Your Magic mastermind and heart, I call it, because it's not only about the mind, it's also about the connection of the mind and the heart. And this is a gathering where we create like highly potentiated field of creativity. We see every person who's in the mastermind as a human, but also as divinity with unlimited potential. And we are kind of connecting to this unlimited source of creativity, and we are inspiring and channeling information and asking questions and playing together to also open our perspective to see something new and to tap into the power. and the extra element that wasn't present in the first edition, but now it will be in the second. It's shamanic journeying. There will be also 3 shamanic journeys with Agnieszka, and you, Aga, you have an idea what would you like to focus on during the journeys? Would you like to say a couple of words about it?
Yes. I would just like to say that I was a participant in the previous edition. May I?
Yes, of course.
And to put it very briefly, what I experienced from the program, I felt very seen. I felt heard. I felt very comfortable. And that program was a very powerful reminder that this shit works. Like, this stuff really works, you know. This is why we do the work, because even when I didn't, on the days when I didn't really feel like attending in one of the meetings, after the first few minutes, literally, I always snapped out of this. And each session, each meeting, whether it was the women's circle or the mastermind and heart meeting, it always gave me something, and it actually transformed my life, I can say, because it helped me make a very important choice in my life. I finally heard the push that I wanted. Jump, nothing is gonna happen to you. And now actually I am torn between the excitement of co-creating it and the anxiety of not being able to be participant. So yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes because I wanted to just check the dates that we chose for our sessions. You didn't mention that the women's circles will happen around the new moon, normally, right? The masterminds and hearts will be usually around the full moon, and the shamanic journeys will be in between. And our last women's circle that will happen on the 4th of November will happen exactly on the new moon, which I think is amazing. Yes, and I, when we started preparing this program, I wasn't decided about what journeys I wanted to do. I thought that maybe I will just give some introduction, do some introductory journeys. For example, one in the roots of the tree of the life, one in the center of the tree of life, and one in the upper worlds, in the crown of the tree of life. But then I felt that I wanted to go deeper. And that's when I decided that I would love to do this series, these 3 journeys on our ancestors, which could also be the feminine line and masculine line of our ancestors. We can also talk about it in a more tantric language as your internal inner feminine and inner masculine, right? In us, the inner feminine energy and the inner masculine energy. So one journey we will focus on the feminine line, the divine feminine. The second journey will be on the masculine line, the divine masculine. And the third journey will be honoring our ancestors, meeting both lines and celebrating the sacred union in us.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
I love it, and I really felt deeply touched and excited when you shared this idea to work with the feminine, masculine, and the union. For me, it's like a hugely important topic. I started with diving into the mysteries of the feminine energy, and then I started not that long ago, several months ago, connecting much more with the inner masculine, and it's been like revelation for me.
Okay.
And I love the idea of combining it with our ancestral lines, because I work with it more in the more tantric way, like the inner of the divine energy of the wild, but like connecting it also and seeing it through the lens of our ancestors, it gives it such an embodied feel also, that it's so real, it's so also in our energy field and in the body, in the DNA.
Yes,
I
yes,
really love it.
absolutely.
I know I will discover something new and go deeper thanks to it.
Yes, and maybe another time, because I am aware of the time that we've talked almost for 40 minutes now. Maybe another time we could talk, or I could do it separately if you like, talk about the benefits that come from working with the feminine and working with the masculine. There are very specific ways in which we can work with them and what intentions we can have for this work, what benefits we can get. And from the connection, from the sacred union work, right? So there's, I would be happy to also talk about this a little.
Yes, please do. And Feed Your Magic is for women only. This program is for women. It doesn't mean that we don't love working with men, but this particular one is for women. And forgot what I wanted to say, but something came to my mind when you were talking about the benefits.
Maybe that we will in the future create a program for men also.
Maybe, yes, possibly, yeah. And I guess I also wanted to say that there are very specific experiences or mysteries that are in the realm of feminine, and they can be available for both, because we all have feminine and masculine energy, so they can be available to men also. However, like for women, they can be easier to experience, also due to our cycle and our physiology and our energy. And something that I've noticed that can be overlooked a little bit in women's circles, in like goddess work or wild woman work, is that such an important part of it is the union and the relationship of the feminine with the masculine. It wouldn't exist without the polarity. And the polarity and the electricity of the polarity can really awaken the feminine. So the more we open to the divine, wild, or inner masculine, whatever you want to call it, the more actually he can open us in our feminine. So it's not either or, it's the union, it's the love and the alchemy between them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, would you like to show your drum to our
I would love to, but do we have time? Maybe I could do it also as a separate video. I could do a short. Okay, I will just show the one that I got from my teacher, because I have it right next to me. But I actually work more often with another one that I made myself during a workshop. But I will show you now the one that I bought from my teacher. Just give me one sec. I will try not to knock anything over while I'm reaching for it.
The one you spoke about, right?
Yes, this is the one I spoke about, and you can see that he's very experienced. He went through a lot of shamanic work,
Mhm.
and I love him very much. But I also have another one that I made myself.
Yeah.
And maybe with the other one, I could do some sample short journey just to experience a little bit the sound and what the drumming does to us when we close our eyes.
That would be great to give people a taste of journeying. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, Aga, thank you so much for today.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate our conversation. I hope that you who are watching or listening to us, that you got curious about shamanic journeying, and maybe you felt interested in Feed Your Magic. If yes, we would love to hear from you. We are happy to answer questions. I'm happy to jump on a quick Zoom call and answer your questions, have conversation to check if it's a right fit for you. And I am really excited and really curious about the women that will be joining. They started gathering. We have a couple of participants, and it's going to be very intimate, very small group. So we have a few more spaces. And yes, I know magic will be flowing abundantly there. Thank you so much, Aga. And
Thank you.
see you soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye.